everyone, greetings to you all watching me this minute. I am Ella Obans, the CEO of the Best Writers and Personal Development Academy of our time, known as YTW. So today I want to share something very special with you. This information I'm about to share is a game changer if you apply all that I'm going to share with you. So it's going to be a very brief video. Stay with me. So, subsequently, I have observed a lot of things that haven't been going right in my life and the life of every other person. So, I have taken my time to find out what exactly is this, and I found an answer. It has been working for me, and I want to share it with you. So, I categorized it in 3 segments, and it's going to be a very brief one. So, the first one is, what do you do? The second one is, why do you do what you do? The third one is, how do you do what you do? So, in most cases, people think they know what they are doing. Sometimes, some people think that they actually know what they're doing by just knowing the title, or probably the profession itself, or maybe getting certified in that field. But that is more than it. In order to get the best from whatever you are doing, in order to achieve the kind of life you want to live, in order to be where you want to be tomorrow, you ought to understand what you are doing today. And that goes from having a certificate to understanding what exactly you're doing. Alright? The next thing that is going to keep you right on track and take you to your destination in life is, why are you doing what you're doing? You know, most people, sometimes you see them doing this business, the next day they are into another business, the next day they are into another business. You won't blame them. They barely know why they are doing what they have chosen to do. So someone can easily come and talk them out of it. Someone can easily come tell them, this is not the way, take mine. But when you have a vision, when you know why you're doing what you're doing, you can easily get to your destination. I don't know if that sunk. So the third one is, how what you're doing is being done. You know, most times people, this is where I made the mistake of my life, and I thank God that I have really picked up my mistake and dust it all. We think our personal experience, our childhood experience, or maybe our knowledge is enough, but it isn't. You ought to go for the professional knowledge of what you are doing. It's very important to know what you're doing. It's more important to know why you're doing what you're doing. But most importantly, to know how it is being done. This is what differentiates success and failures. So you ought to know how what you're doing is being done. You ought to understand the principles guiding them. So the first thing to consider, in order to know how what you are doing is being done, is to find out what principle guides this thing I'm doing. For everything you do, there is a principle guiding it. So the second one is integrity. Whatever you do in life, no matter how small, don't sell your integrity. Don't trade your integrity for money. Don't trade your integrity for connection. Make sure you have it intact. And what do I mean by this integrity? A lot of people are not honest. A lot of people cannot keep to time. If they tell you no, the answer is actually yes. If they tell you yes, the answer is actually no. It's uncalled for. People will not trust you. You know, in order to be successful, you ought to solve a problem. And people cannot trust you to solve their problem when you don't have your integrity intact. So I already mentioned principle guiding everything. There is principle guiding everything. You just have to find yours and follow it. The next one is integrity. Have integrity. If you say yes, let your yes be yes. If you say no, let your no be no. The next one is excellence. This is where most people think, my childhood experience is enough. my mom's the teachings I got from my mom, my aunt, my family is enough. But it isn't. Even the teachings you got from your pastor is not enough. You ought to go far beyond the same. You ought to go far beyond the knowledge you've received and go for excellence. We have a lot of average people in the world. The only people that are paid differently are those who are excellent. The next point is diligence. This goes hand in hand with consistency. You ought to be diligent and consistent. A lot of people procrastinate, a lot of people are unstable, but a lot of people are looking for diligent and consistent people, even those who are not. So, in order to be valuable, in order to thrive in that place you are doing what you're doing, you ought to be consistent and diligent. So I'm going to run down the steps I made mention earlier. I said there are principles guiding everything you do. Find yours. It's very simpler to find when you can connect with people who are ahead of you in that field. The second one is excellence. We have a lot of average people. If you are not the best, you can hardly earn the best. You can hardly become the best. Okay? You can hardly um, give the best output or probably the best service. So you ought to gain mastery. That's just the word. Gain mastery. Be excellent in whatever you're doing, even if it's knitting, you make hairs, you whatever you do, you're a fashion designer, you're a writer, whatever you do, make sure you are the best. If not the only best, but at least among the best. The next point I made mention is diligence and consistency. This is where people take you serious. This is where you tell people that this is actually real, that this is actually the way, that this is actually the solution. They will actually listen to you. They will actually buy your idea because they have seen you consistently and diligently follow those principles. If you know me too well, by the special grace of God, I have made up my mind to live all these things, to uphold it on my daily activity. I hope you got blessed. Thank you so much for watching my video. See you on the next video, and do well to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you so much.